I get to the beer, right? I get to this beer. I have 3 beers. I drink them and then I start feeling dizzy, right? I start feeling dizzy and dizzy and dizzy and dizzy, right? And it keeps going on, right, for the whole night, I guess you could say. Because I was up till 4 in the morning drinking beer, well, not drinking beer, but I was up to 4 in the morning because of these beers, right? Happy New Year, music was playing, stuff like that, and then, had to get up at 20 to 4 in the morning doing the toilet because of this beer. And so that is kind of a little thing that happened during New Year's. But I've never actually, there's not a lot of stories I've had during New Year's, but this is kind of a new edition.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the James Rambling Show, coming at you live on Friday night. Tonight's your host, James Bay.
Hello, welcome back to the James Rambling Show. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023. We've came off of 2022, the first year of the James Rambling Show, but now we're approaching the second year of the James Rambling Show, and it will be interesting to see where the podcast goes from here. I do want to talk about New Year's stuff, and also sort of like how I kind of want to sort of try to make the pod, like try and learn from mistakes I've made on the show. Like I have said, like I go on tangents and stuff, but I'll mention about how I'm going to try and cut back on that stuff as well. But I'll go with the New Year's stuff. So, New Year's, right, it's this thing, right, that happens every single year when a new year starts. You say, Happy New Year, to welcome in the new year. And so people do have their own ways of celebrating the new year, doing parties and all of that stuff. But I remember back in Scotland when New Year was all about, going to the parties and getting drunk and all of that stuff. I never did that because I was too young, obviously. But you have a countdown when it's New Year. All of that stuff happens, and then what you also get is a bit of New Year's resolutions that have to do with how people want to have these resolutions about goals they'll achieve in the new year, but you can see that would make sense because it's a new year, new me. I want to try and do this and I want to try and do that and improve myself. Then there's people who say that stuff, right? Then it comes to this point in time when they themselves don't actually, or they don't really live up to it. So for example, someone will say, I'm going to work out every single day of the year and I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep on doing it. But then, they could just stop working out for the entire year and they could have went for 4 weeks straight and gave up. So there's that stuff, right? There's people who do not really live up to what they say when it comes to New Year's resolutions, and if I'm being honest, I've never really had New Year's resolutions myself. Like, I don't remember a time when I said, this year I'm going to do this and this and that. I might have forgotten, but it's just one of those things that I've never really actually wanted to do. Like, when it's a new year, right, every single year I'm just doing what I kind of want to do. Like the last year, like one of my favourite years is 2018 because it was really fun, right? You had all like, oh man, I remember 2018 being one of my favourite years. It was 2019, right? But like every time it's a new year, I'm not, like, I feel like I've lost that excitement of it being a new year now. Like especially in the wake of, what's been going on in 2020 and 2021 and also 2022, where we've had this mindset of, once it's a new year, we don't really have faith in it because there are people who say, oh, once it's a new year, just because the new year has started, it means that the whole year's going to be great. But no, they they jump ahead of themselves because, all this stuff has happened over these past few years now with COVID-19 and with the crisis in Ukraine, and then you had the Will Smith slap. You had all of that. You had all of these things that went on, and so that leads to why, saying Happy New Year's, right, is great and all, but when you pitch it into the context of what we are living through now, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna be saying Happy New Year, hope 2023 is just going to top 2020, 2021, and 2022. However, 2022 wasn't as bad for me because, there was less lockdowns and stuff like that, but it wasn't a bad year for me entirely. Yeah, I had COVID for a couple of weeks and stuff like that, but there wasn't a point where I said, yeah, 2022 is just as bad as 2020 and 2021 for me, because it wasn't. Like, the 2022 was bad for Russia, Ukraine, and stuff like that. So I've now sort of realised how I don't really have a mindset of that, if you know what I mean. Like, so yeah, that's good. I just wanted to throw that in there for you. I wanted to throw in that, like, when it's a new year now, it's like we shouldn't really have so much faith that it's going to be a fantastic year. Yeah, so there's all of that, definitely. That's my thoughts on, like, New Year's resolutions and the hope for a new year and what would happen during a new year. But, so, I want to mention how I do actually have a story I want to talk about, right? So recently it was New Year's and stuff, right? Then, what I used to do for New Year's was have a shandy, which is like a drink you have, right? You grab a bit of beer and you grab a bit of Sprite and you mix it together, right? You do that, and then you have that drink going on. I used to do that, right? I used to have 3 or 4 shandies for New Year's, but this year I mixed up the game because I had 3 beers instead. And I did tell the story of how, I got sick during camping with beer and stuff like that. And then I mentioned how, there was that time on the South Island when I actually drunk beer outside and it was sunny and I was getting a bit nauseous. I was a bit tired and I didn't drink water to like mix it up so I'm not just all that kind of thing. So then I get to the beer, right? I get to this beer. I have 3 beers. I drink them and then I start feeling dizzy. Right? I start feeling dizzy and dizzy and dizzy and dizzy. Right? And it keeps going on, right, for the whole night, I guess you could say. Because I was up till 4 in the morning drinking beer. Well, not drinking beer, but I was up to 4 in the morning because of these beers, right? Happy New Year, music was playing, stuff like that. And then, I had to get up at 20 to 4 in the morning doing the toilet because of this beer. And so that is kind of a little thing that happened during New Year's. But I've never actually, there's not a lot of stories I've had during New Year's, but this is kind of a new addition to the stories of the James Ramblin' Show, I guess you could say. So there's all of that the New Year, the story about how I got drunk at New Year's and stuff like that. Like, and the hangover, I just want to mention that the hangover, yeah, you have hangovers, which is that what happens after you have the beer. Like, it's basically the after effect or the aftermath of how it happened, and you're trying to recover from all of that stuff. So then that kind of happens, and then and then after a while, I just got better, and I wasn't feeling it. I'm glad I wasn't sick though. I hate being sick. I mean, everybody hates being sick, honestly. Like, you're just spewing and stuff. So all of that, right? So what else was I mentioning? Okay, there is this thing I want to talk about regarding the future of the James Ramblin' Show, because I've noticed doing the podcast that I do actually kind of fill in time when I talk, right? There's times when I'll just say something, stretch it out, and never really get to the point, because I know I'm supposed to talk about whatever the case may be, and I know I'm supposed to talk about whatever, But I can't keep going around saying, oh, so basically the thing was that the fact that the matter is the yada yada yada, because I'm just jumping around and I'm not really getting to the point, and I don't want that for the future of the show. I want to be able to sort of change it up and try and just get to the point and then flow through that point and then flow through the next one and flow through the point, so I'm not sitting there saying, I've went on a tangent, or so basically the thing was, oh basically the thing was, oh basically the thing was. And I hope you understand that, because it's a trend on the show that I've noticed. So going into 2023, I just want it to sound. I want to sound more interesting and not boring and like repetitive. Because I know I talk about whatever, but that is just one thing I want to bring up, because that degrades the listening experience. Because you don't want listeners listening to somebody going like, so basically the thing is, right. I just don't want it. I don't want that to happen. So that's my goal for this year. That is basically. Oh shit. Oh god. I actually said basically. Sorry. It is a habit. It is a habit. I know. So that is a New Year's resolution I have. Is that I am actually aiming to sort of get away from. So basically, the thing is actually all of that stuff, and get away from. Oh, we went on a tangent. We went on a massive tangent, guys. Oh my god. You need to know that we went on a massive tangent. Just let it flow and let it flow and let it flow. And so that's one thing. That's one thing. And this goes through to the guest stuff as well. I don't want to just keep having random conversations as well. I think I need to sort of mix that up as well. I want to try talk about one thing and one thing only with guests, and get back to themed episodes as well. There's that. I definitely think that is something to actually think of, because I can't keep doing tangents all the time. It's going to get really, really boring and repetitive and stuff like that. So, that stuff. And I did mention in that community tab post that I'm going to have Tom Duncan's, or not, well, oh, I think I might have leaked it already, but I think I'm going to have a guest on the show next week. He's been on the show before, but it is kind of obvious, even though I leaked the fact that it was Tom Duncan's, that he's coming back on the podcast, because he's been on the show a few times now, or a couple times I should say. He's been on it. We talked to him. We talked to Tom Duncan's and talked about sitcoms and that. That was definitely that. But we'll have something interesting for you lined up with the Tom Duncan's episode, definitely. And I have ideas about other episodes that other things I want to talk about. Like I said, the hot takes, the food stuff is what I'm looking to talk about. I'm looking to talk about more things, right? Maybe the things that I have slightly touched on that I've never really dived into properly, like history. I do have a interest of history. I do have like these other things I should have brought up earlier in the podcast, but because the way the podcast was, I couldn't really do it, because I made it such a weird way to start a podcast and stuff like that. So that's kind of like the update of the show. So this year we're going to try to make the podcast a bit better and sort of get to the point more and sort of let the whole thing flow, not have to mention that we go on a bunch of tangents. Stuff like that. So there's all of that. Definitely all of that. But I do think that I could mention how I have been getting into manga recently. Right, I have a bunch of mangas at here. Right, I got this Deadpool one. Right, then I got I got this one called The Crazy Food Truck as well. Then I got this Batman comic, and I got a Naruto comic for Christmas. And I've read all of these. I've read all of these comics, and I remember the time when I read manga before, but I never read it with the books itself. It was just digitally. It was digitally and stuff like that. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is this is because this is something I've done recently that I thought I would throw in here. Because I've already touched on how I like my anime, but I've also been getting into manga and I've been playing more I pointed there, but I've been playing more Yakuza again, trying to get more into that franchise. I've been meaning to get back into it for a very long time now. So we have that stuff, but I think these mangas that I got, they're decent. Like there's this crazy food truck, is this crazy story about this guy that owns this food truck, comes across this girl, and then this crazy stuff happens, hence the title Crazy Food Truck. And then the Deadpool one is about this crossover between comics and manga, this crossover between American comics and manga, and there's like these breaking the fourth wall references about how Deadpool is in a manga, and this kind of stuff, and it's a very good book, I would say so myself. There's also this Batman book, novel, comic, whatever. Right, got this right, right. And I'm gonna say it that one wasn't really the best because, okay, there is decent art in there, but the thing is, okay, sorry, okay, so the Batman comic itself wasn't very interesting. Like, okay, we see good art here. I see the good art, but I don't really see a good story here. And so it was just a very weird comic itself because it was emphasizing on wearing masks, right? I get the fact that, the writer or whatever was trying to mix in some modern 21st century references, but I just didn't get it, and it wasn't really working. Like, it's a Batman story with mask wearing. Like, Batman's origin story, right, is about this guy who loses his parents and he has to fight crime in Gotham. Then flashback, right, go to 2022 where this came out in 2022, I believe, and you get this comic where you have this black guy who says this whole idea about wearing masks and SWAT teams and all this stuff. So it was a weird angle the writer whatever they went with. So it just made absolutely no sense why it did what it needed to do, and so the art was okay. The art was good, and that's kind of my thoughts there. But the manga definitely had good art and good story. But the Naruto manga was one thing that I didn't really like. Okay, I didn't really like the manga, not the manga. I didn't really like the anime, like I mentioned a long time ago on the podcast. Like, I never liked it because it was just so long, and it was this whole entire thing about ninjas and all this stuff, and I just couldn't get into it. Then I read the manga that I got for Christmas, and then I clinged onto it immediately because it is a book that just, like, it's easier to read when it's just a book and you're just reading it and reading it and reading it and reading it, opposed to trying to get into a show that has over 500 episodes or whatever, right? Because I think Naruto is over 1,000 episodes. The anime is really long, right? I'm not too sure. Maybe I'm mixing that up with One Piece, because One Piece is like 1,000 episodes or something like that. So there's all of that stuff, right? That I'm just letting you know that I've gotten into manga now, and I did mention a while ago that I wanted to get into comics, but I haven't really got the chance to get into comics until recently. I mean, I don't read comics as much, and I've read Tolkien novels, and I still want to get into the Fallen Numenor, definitely. And I will say that I am still looking to rewatch Avatar: The Weight of Water at some point, but it has been put off because of Christmas. I mentioned Christmas a little bit there, but because of Christmas, it kind of puts things to the side. It puts things to the side because you're just spending time with family and stuff, so I haven't had the chance to rewatch Avatar. And it has blown my mind. Well, it is kind of insane how Avatar: The Way of Water has made about 1.5 almost $1 billion at the box office now. And there was these people saying, "Oh, it's gonna flop because it won't have the same cultural impact." Like I said in my review of Avatar: The Way of Water, it won't have the same cultural impact as it used to have. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Avatar: The Way of Water makes 1.5 billion in its third opening weekend, and so there you go, right? Just proving those cowards wrong, definitely. But we'll have to see if Avatar: The Way of Water was as good upon a second viewing, because upon a first viewing, I rewatched Avatar. Oh my god, why did I do that? Right, I rewatched Avatar: The Way of Water. Right, I rewatched Avatar, I should say. I rewatched Avatar, and then I watch the film, and then I enjoy the film because I know what it's about. And that's the thing with Avatar, is that it was a film. It was a film that you needed to rewatch the original just to get the full scope of what's going on in the second film. And that's something Top Gun Maverick never did. But this movie has to do that because it's set 10 years after. And so it does that. But it is good that it is it is lighting up the box office and stuff like that, because it just proves that James Cameron can deliver big sweeping blockbusters. And he's like, I did read this article about how this is his third movie that's probably going to make $2 billion at the box office, because there is two other movies, Titanic and the original Avatar, that made over $2 billion at the box office. And I wasn't really that big on Titanic, and I don't think I've mentioned this on the show before, but I'm not really into Titanic. Like, as this movie's based on that tragic tragedy about how the ship crashes into an iceberg and all of that, but I never really got into it myself. It's a 3 hour and 20 odd minute movie, but I never got into it at all. It wasn't a movie that I recall enjoying. I don't know if we'll ever get a Titanic 2, but it doesn't seem like there is a lot of demand for that. If there was a Titanic 2, though, you could see that it would do well, because you've got Leonardo DiCaprio, who is a big star, right? He's the kind of actor that would make the box office blaze on fire, because everyone goes to a film to see Leonardo DiCaprio. You could say that Leonardo DiCaprio was like Tom Cruise, because whenever he's in a movie, people want to go see a film with Leonardo DiCaprio in it. And that was the good thing about Tarantino, because he said that Marvel characters, right? People who play Marvel characters are not superstars anymore, or there's no real stars in those films, because you get Robert Downey Jr. and you get all these other actors, but you don't really know the other actors that much, or you just don't go to the movies for those actors, you know what I mean? You just go there for the characters, and that's the thing, right? That's the thing. Like, Marvel was the thing that blazed the box office with this big star, Robert Downey Jr., and then it kind of went a bit weird, because obviously, like, the recent Marvel movies they've kind of flopped down at the box office and all of that, because you had movies like Eternals and all of that stuff that kind of nobody really knew about. And so there's all of that stuff. Like, it's interesting to see how a film can make so much money at the box office. Like, there is a lot of movies that make a lot of money at the box. Like, I don't really focus on the box office numbers a lot. I kind of just go there to try and enjoy a film, and sometimes I skip on movies. There was also I think there was two other movies that came out recently. There was Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and I Want to Dance with Somebody. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is like the sequel to the Puss in Boots movie from 2000 and something 10 or something like that. And the other movie, I Want to Dance with Somebody, is a biopic on Whitney Houston. I'm gonna be honest, right? Never really been into Whitney Houston, if I'm being honest. Not one of my favourite artists, but there's not really a big drive to go to see it. That nobody's pulling up in droves like Avatar: The Way of Water to see this film, and I did predict that nobody would really. I know Whitney Houston is a big star and everything, but Avatar, because it's coming out, it came out in the glimpse of the Christmas holidays, and everyone's just settling down. You're just gonna see this entire thing of people going to see this film so much because they'd have so much free time. Although there are reports that it's going to it's gonna be interesting to see how it will track as in the coming weeks, because we have in America, right? In America, they go back to school and stuff in January. So it'll be interesting to see where that will go and how it will go further, where the box office and how the box office numbers will do. Will it stick the landing? Will it get 2 billion? Because James Cameron said it has to be the top five best film to break even. Then it was reported that he kind of exaggerated this to get people hyped. So then the thing was what was with it, that what then transpired there was how the fact there had to be the top 10 best selling or the top 10 highest grossing movie of all time, which means it has to make 1.4 to 5 billion at the box office. And right now, as I mentioned there earlier, it made about 1.4 billion recently, and that is crazy. So yeah, there's just that. There's all that stuff, like a lot of interesting stuff. And do I have any anticipated films for 2023? No. Well, I do have John Wick 4, there's Oppenheimer, there's Mission Impossible 7, there's a few movies. I do want to go out on a limb though, that there are a few films I'm not really excited for, like Indiana Jones 5. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but Indiana Jones is one of my favourite franchises. Like, we take Harrison Ford, talk about movie stars, right? We take Harrison Ford, we put him in this franchise, right? You get this amazing action sets, all of that, like big giant stunts, entertaining, all of that stuff, right? Then you bring him back for Indiana Jones 5, but then you see the face thing, what you call that? Face swapping or whatever, the CGI face swapping thing, whatever you call that. Anyways, right, you have all of that stuff, then he's just too old to do these stunts now, and then you're just wondering to yourself, how are they going to pull this off? And it's called the Dial of Destiny. It doesn't sound like an Indiana Jones title, because you had Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, or the Indiana Jones and the Ladies of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and then Indiana Jones, the Crystal Skull. You don't have. It sounds like it's trying to be a Back to the Future parody versus like an actual Indiana Jones movie, because it has to do with time traveling, and the only franchise I can think of that pulled that off was Doctor Who and Back to the Future, because Doctor Who relies on time travel. This movie doesn't rely on time travel. It is an adventurer movie. Like, there was also National Treasure, which is Nicolas Cage, but that's like a treasure stuff. But when you bring it back, right, when you bring back Indiana Jones 5, you can definitely see how they're milking Indiana Jones for the sake of milking Indiana Jones. So there's that. Other movies, right, I don't really know what other films I'm not excited for. I did mention Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I'm excited for, but Ant-Man and the Wasp 3, I don't know too much about it. Like, there's Kang they're introducing and all that. I hope the MCU is back on track, because I've had those times when I didn't really like it. So I think I might just end the episode here. Hope you enjoyed this week of the James Ramble, and so we hope to bring you an interesting discussion with Tom Duncan next week. So yeah, I just tried my best to not I'm trying my best to sort of just let this flow and not point out I'm going on a bunch of tangents, like I said. And Happy New Year. Let's hope 2023 is good for the James Rambling Show. We get a lot of guests and we get a lot of interesting topics and a bit more improving and stuff like that. See ya.